Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bandzoogle webinar, How to Build a Professional Website with No Coding Skills. My name is Allison Sharp, and I'm the Education and Events Specialist here at Bandzoogle.
I'm Desi Rotman. I am on the support team, and I co-host these webinars with Allison.
So before we get started, we always like to make sure that you guys can see and hear us. So before we do anything, if you can type your name, or not your name, we already see your name, but if you can type where you're from in the chat box to the right, that way we'll know that you can see and hear us. So let me just make sure I can see you guys' chats. In the meantime, while you guys are typing in where you're from, I'm from Southern California, and the weather has been on and off, but it's been getting really nice out here lately. So sorry to you guys. I know there's a lot of people that are getting snow and slush and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm in Chicago, and it's pretty slippery out. We had a really, really bad storm on, I think, Tuesday, and everything's been slush and slippery since.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Bob from Colorado, and Wiz from New Jersey, Paul from South Africa, awesome, in the heat. So he's getting the heat. Randy from Arkansas. So we got a variety of different locations, probably different weathers and all sorts of things. So thank you guys for joining us today. Hey, Richard from Georgia. So basically what we're going to do today, everybody on this webinar should be a free trial member or just barely upgraded to a paid plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a slideshow presentation. It's going to talk about a little bit about Bandzoogle, maybe some of the things that you don't know that you can do. And then we'll go after that into building a site from scratch. So you guys can see kind of the progress from the beginning to the end. Also, you guys have probably already built your sites, but for those of you that haven't or maybe are stuck, if there's any questions along the way, I won't be able to see the chat because I'll be screen sharing, but Desi can. So she'll be able to answer any questions that you guys have along the way. And we'll also leave some time at the end for a Q&A. So we got a few more people. Hey, Mark from Tahoe City, California. Yay, California. Vadim from Moscow. Awesome. Sergio from Ecuador. Jim from Ohio, and Jill from Arkansas. So welcome to all of you guys. We are happy to have you on this webinar today. Also, another thing is that after this webinar, we will be sending out a replay link. So just in case you missed anything or if you want to review it again, you'll be able to do so. Hey, Antoine. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So give me just a second to do that. Hold on, technical difficulties. Okay. Okay, this should do it. Wait, hold on one second. I gotta come back to this window. All right, so can you guys see that, Desi?
Looks great.
Awesome. Okay, so what is Bandzoogle? You guys already know that Bandzoogle is a website and direct-to-fan marketing platform. We give you all the tools you need to create your own website. No coding skills are needed. You guys are already on Bandzoogle, so you guys already know that. When you do upgrade to a paid plan, though, you do get a free domain name registration. So you can either use one that you already have, or we'll register one for you. We'll also renew it for you each year you're a member with us at no cost to you. We also offer fast and reliable cloud hosting. Because Bandzoogle was created for musicians, by musicians, we always like to make sure that we're giving you everything you need to improve in your music career. So one of the #1 things that we offer are music players. With our music players, you can stream your music right on your site. You can offer free downloads, and you can also sell your music commission free. So that means that we don't take a cut of any of your sales. You could set a price, or you can pay or you can have your fans pay what they want. So basically you can just set it up to have them enter the price that they'd like to pay. And we've seen some of our members have success with that because people like to support indie artists. So sometimes they'll be willing to pay a little bit more than, you know, say for a set price that you add. Adding lyrics is a great idea. You can do that right in the music feature. We also give you the option to upload different file types such as MP3, WAV, and FLAC files. If you have your music already on SoundCloud, which a lot of musicians and artists do, you can easily import those tracks into our music features so you don't have to upload it twice. You can also embed our players into Facebook and Twitter for easy sharing. And with our Pro plan, you can also do album pre-orders and SoundScan reporting. We do give you an events feature, which is our calendar. It allows you to sell tickets commission-free. You can add custom images. So if you've had show posters created, you can easily, add those in. The events are shareable on social media, and you can set recurring events. So if you have a gig, say, for example, every Saturday night, you can easily put that in. And then if your events are already in bands in town, we have a very easy integration as well. One of the unique things that Bandzoogle does offer is a built-in mailing list feature. A lot of site builders, they don't have that. They tell you to go, like, say, to MailChimp or Constant Contact or something to grab their widgets from there, which those companies are great, but they can be pretty costly, especially as you start to build your list. So with Bandzoogle, we give you a built-in mailing list feature. So it allows you to capture emails from your website of all your visitors. And then from there, you can send professional email newsletters out to that list. You can schedule emails for later. We give you detailed reports, and it's easy to import and export. So if you already have a list built up somewhere else, you can easily import that and use that here. The mailing list is included with your plan cost, so it's not an additional fee. With our standard and pro plans, we do give you a commission-free store. This will allow you to sell physical items like CDs and vinyl records, t-shirts, any kind of band merch that you have. You can also, with our pro plan, sell digital files. So you can sell sheet music, you can sell videos. So if you teach lessons, that's a really great way to make additional money. We also offer discount codes and sale pricing, and then automatic inventory tracking for items that you only have a limited supply of. To date, our members have sold over $30 million in commission-free sales and counting. We have not taken a cut of any of those sales. So when you start to build your website, one of the #1 questions that we get is, what kind of style can I expect? So we have over 100 beautiful mobile-ready themes, and we're adding new themes every month, as well as theme variations. So we have a lot going on. If you check out the Edit Theme tab and then click View Themes, you'll see that there's a lot of different layout options, colors, different placements. And then even once you choose a theme, we have a really powerful theme editor. So once you choose a theme, you can go in and change things like fonts, colors, placement. You can add image filters. You can even add sections, section colors. We're also going to be adding in a future update section background images. So there's a lot going on. You can even add a video header. You can add up to 5 images in the header so that you can make it a slideshow. So you can really make your website stand out to its own once you even choose one of our themes. Another thing we provide is detailed fan data. We do that through our own service, or you can use Google Analytics. So either way, once you are upgraded to a paid plan, you can go to the Reports tab and you'll see stats of how many people are visiting your site, what pages they're checking out, what songs they're listening to, what songs they're skipping. This is going to give you more information about, what pages and songs are working and which ones aren't. You can also easily connect to your services. So we have built-in integrations with sites like Instagram, SoundCloud, Twitter. So these are things that you can add to your site really easily. A lot of times, we have members that are coming to us with no experience at all, and we don't want you to worry about that. We do have musician-friendly support 7 days a week, and we do that through email and live chat. That way we can have personalized support to you, and you'll always have a record of any issues in your help tab. That way you can revisit them, or we can revisit them if that issue comes up again, or if you have any additional questions. So once you're done with your free trial, you'll want to choose one of our plans, and we do have 3 different plans. We have a light plan, standard plan, and pro plan. The light plan is for a basic site, so if you're just getting started and you have maybe, say, 1 album of 10 tracks, that would be a good plan to start with. But most of our members just go right to the standard plan because it does give you a little bit more to work with. So you can add up to 20 pages, 50 tracks, 500 photos. You could add up to 1,000 mailing list members. So this is great as you're building your fan base. And then if you want all the bells and whistles, you can go with our Pro plan, which will give you unlimited pretty much everything: pages, tracks, photos, mailing list members. And then there's a lot of e-commerce features, like I mentioned before, where you can sell physical merch, tickets, download codes. There's discount codes, sound scan reporting. There's just a bunch of extra stuff. Also with our Pro plan, there's no Bandzoogle branding, so you won't see the link at the bottom that says powered by Bandzoogle. So another question we usually get is, isn't social media enough? Can't I just use social media? The answer is no. Social media is great, but it's not the end-all be-all. You definitely want to have your own website, and here's a few reasons why. The first one is that you own the address. You're going to get a guarantee that you own a little slice of the internet that's just your own. If you think back to a site like MySpace, it was the biggest social media platform. Everybody was on it. Everybody had a MySpace page. But then once it started going downhill, people were jumping ship, and there was really no way to stay in touch with those followers or your friends. So with your own website, you can drive people to your website, get them on your mailing list, and that way, no matter what happens with any social media, you'll be able to stay in touch with them. Number two is you own the experience. I'm sure you guys have noticed so many distractions on social media, especially in the last couple of years. You could even go to a site like Instagram and have a really pleasant scrolling experience. But now, even with a site like Instagram, there's ads and sponsored images and videos. It's very distracting. So with your own website, there's no distractions, and you get to design it the way you'd like. Number three is that you own the data. So as I mentioned with our reports tab, you get to see where your fans are from, what site brought them to you. And also, you earn more money by selling directly from your website because, again, we don't take any percentages or anything like that. So getting people to your site is really ideal. So another thing that you're going to want to think about is, as we mentioned, with your mailing list. And the importance of it is huge because, first of all, you own it. You own your list. So it doesn't matter what happens to any other sites or social media platforms. You have the database, so you can take it with you. It doesn't matter where you go. Number two, it's the ultimate permission marketing. So if somebody signs up to your list, you know they want to hear from you. Number three, it's the best way to sell. Email marketing is 40 times as effective as Facebook and Twitter combined. Also, it's the best way to stay in touch with your fans. So basically, an email list is an artist retirement plan. So basically, what that means is you have your list of people, your database, and you can continue to send emails to them with different things. You know, you can announce new shows, new albums. You can just stay in touch with them through the holidays just to say thank you. You never want to just bombard your list with, you know, buy this, buy that. You want to stay in touch with them and be engaged with them and ask them, you know, what they want and what they like and, you know, different things like that. Especially even on social media, you want to do that. But especially in your mailing list feature, you want to make sure that you stay engaged. And if you have that list set up, you can always stay in touch with them. So what we're going to talk about next is your website's audience. When you're building a site, sometimes you come to a site like Bandzoogle and you choose your theme and you start putting things together, and then you think, well, I'm just going to throw some stuff up on the page and hopefully it's great. But let's get a little bit more of a structure here. So when you think about building your site, you're going to want to think about it from not from your perspective, but from the perspective of whoever's going to be seeing your website. So the first one is your potential fans. These are people that really don't know about you. They may have heard about you from a friend. They may have seen you as an opening act for one of their favorite artists. They don't really know who you are. So for the first time, they're going to come to your site and they're going to want to know, you know, what's your story? Who are you? So you're going to want to put your best songs and videos up front and then get them on your mailing list. You can do that by offering a free sample, something like, you know, get a free track in exchange for your email. The next audience is your current fans. These are people that know about you, they love you, they follow you, they, you know, purchased some of your music already. They want to know what's new. So you should always, you know, keep your website up to date. You can do that with new blog posts or photo galleries. You can even give your current fans limited edition products, package deals. And then again, getting them on your mailing list is important. If people are coming back to your site over and over again, you really want to make sure that they're on your list so you can stay in touch with them when they're not on your site. And then the third audience, which is often overlooked, is industry and media. So these are people like bloggers, venues, industry professionals like from record labels or production companies, or just pretty much anyone that's not, quote unquote fan, but there's somebody that might want to work with you or collab with you. So when they get to your site, they're going to want to know what's new with you. Also, what makes you unique or different? What sets you apart from everybody else? So again, it's important to put your best stuff on your homepage. Also, another page you're going to want to have on your site is a press kit, or sometimes it's referred to as an EPK or electronic press kit. So with the press kit page, this is kind of a one page that is a little snippet of everything else on your site. So it just gives media professionals a way to look at your site at a glance, basically condensing the time they have to stay on your site. So you'll want to have a short bio, high quality images, excuse me, a couple songs, a video, some press quotes, and then some career highlights, and then a way to contact you. So if they can come to your site and just look at one page, they'll appreciate that because you're saving them time, and they're usually looking at a lot of different artists. So if you have everything in one spot, it really makes it nice for them. So moving on, we're going to talk for a few minutes about design. So when you're designing your site, you're going to want to take a look at a few different things. The first and most important thing are your photos, especially your header photo, which is basically the image that stands out right away when somebody comes to your site. So you're going to want to use professional photos for that. So when you use, bad photos, like photos from your phone or just candid photos or photos that are overexposed or something like that, it can really create a negative impression of your music. So you want to use photos that were taken by a professional. I know that it might cost a little extra, but we do recommend investing in a professional photographer because it really does make a huge difference to the look and feel of your website. So when somebody comes to your site, they want to know that you're a professional. And when you spend the extra money on a photographer that knows what they're doing, they'll give you different looks. They'll give you photos that have good lighting. And also you can use those photos not only on your website, but on social media. You can use those for if somebody writes an article about you, you'll already have your images that you can supply to them. And you can kind of control what images are out there of you a little bit. So if you want to use like candid photos or maybe photos that aren't great, but you want people to see them, you can use those in your photo gallery. In terms of colors of your site, so you're going to want to stick to 3 major colors: a primary brand color, a contrasting secondary color, and then a third accent color, which is going to complement both the primary and secondary colors. So you don't want to throw up about 10 different colors and just hope it works well together. You can go online to Google and search color wheel. Adobe has a really great one, and all it does is it just shows you what colors work well together. So say if you have a certain mood of your music, or if you're a type of person that always wears a certain color, go ahead and choose that color as your brand color. So say if it's blue, you can go on a color wheel and it'll tell you what colors work well with that particular blue, and also different shades of blue, so you can keep it really nice on your website. And then the next thing about design is your typography. So this is all the text you see on a website. So you're going to want to avoid any sort of wacky fonts, things with jagged edges, curly cues, polka dots, stripes. Those might be really fun, but if it's hard to read, it really defeats the purpose. You really want people to come to your site and be able to read your site title or your text, and just make it easy for them. Also, you'll want to pay attention to the contrast between font color and background. So if you have a stark black background with white text, it can be hard on the eyes. So you want to make sure that you look at your website as a visitor would, just to make sure that it's pleasing. You also want to use left-aligned text where possible. Centered text is okay at times, but you usually want to use left-aligned text so it's easier to read, just like a book. And then in terms of bold, italic, or all caps, you want to use that as little as possible in the body. You just want to use those for things like titles and announcements. So obviously it's a mobile world. Everybody's on their tablets and phones. So you need a mobile friendly website. So whatever you decide, if you decide to go with Bandzoogle or not, you need to make sure that your site works well on mobile devices. With Bandzoogle, all of our sites are optimized for mobile, so it's going to scale down to any screen size your visitors are viewing from. So why do you need a mobile friendly website? Well, mobile digital media time is now higher than compared to desktop. And I'm sure that's pretty obvious. You guys all have seen people out and about just on their phones all over the place. And so people are always surfing the net, no matter where they are. The mobile experience at that point needs to be seamless. The content must be just as easy to find on a mobile as it is on desktop. And the e-commerce, meaning the way people buy from your site, must work perfectly on mobile devices as well. Google did a mobile-friendly update, so it boosts mobile-friendly pages in mobile search rankings and punishes sites that aren't mobile-friendly. So you want to make sure that your site is working well on mobile devices. Okay, so the navigation is the menu bar that you see at the top of your website, and you want to make that very easy for people to search around on your pages. So to do that, we recommend limiting your main menu buttons to roughly 8 or less. When you start to get over 8, it's overwhelming and people aren't going to click on that many pages typically because people are busy. They have a very short attention span now with social media. So you want to just, put your best stuff on your website. You also want to have one clear purpose per section. And then you want to keep the names simple in the menu. So it should just be one word. So blog, music, store, home. It shouldn't be like a phrase or, anything like that. Once they get on the actual page, you can get more creative in the content. So the 8 essential sections that you're going to want to have on your website are listed here. So we'll go through them quickly here, and then we'll move on to building the site. So the number 1 page is obviously your home page. As we mentioned before, you want to have a great header image, a short little bio. A bio can be just 3 lines on your homepage. You can say, who you are, what you do, and where you're from. You want to add, some music to your homepage. Maybe just 1 or 2 songs, maybe a video. And then you want to have some latest news or a blog which talks about, what's going on with you or your band. And then the social media links. And the social media links, you should put those towards the bottom of the site because you don't want somebody to come to your website and then immediately click on to your social media, because then they're leaving your site. So you want to keep them on your site as long as possible because you kind of control the content. Another thing that you want to pay attention to is a lot of times we see people adding an intro page. An intro page is like a splash page or a squeeze page that comes before the home page. An intro page is only good for a limited time, so temporarily for maybe 2 weeks or less. So that would be to use if you were announcing a new tour or a new album. You don't want to keep an intro page up long term. Intro pages are not great for SEO, search engine optimization, and they just really make it difficult for people that are wanting to return to your website because people have to always click the enter site link. So instead, just allow people to come right to your homepage and give them the content that they're looking for. Another thing you want to have on your homepage is a call to action. So a call to action is the one thing that you want people to do when they hit your site. It directs visitors to do something specific. So the number 1 call to action is join your mailing list. A couple other different ones you can use is make a purchase or watch this video. So once they get to your site, you want them to engage and, want them to do something while they're on your site so it keeps them kind of going on your site. The next page you want is a bio page, and this is where you'd want to put a full bio, a short bio, and then a photo or 2. The reason you'll want to have a short bio and then a longer bio is because people use them for different purposes. So for a short bio, an example would be if somebody was reading it to announce you on, let's say, a podcast. A full bio is great for if somebody's writing an article about you or doing an interview, and they can kind of, read through your bio and grab the things that they need for the article. You also want to have your bio written in 3rd person, so it makes it easy for them to grab the information they need without having to rewrite it. This one may seem obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many music sites we see without music on it. So no matter what, you do need to have at least 1 or 2 songs on your site so people can hear you. So on your music site, you'll want to have your full discography. So if you have a lot of albums, you want to have all of them listed there so people can see what you've done. You want to have song samples. With our music feature, you can easily stream on the site. You can have a lyrics section, and then you can even have a downloadable track in exchange for email. That's in our settings for the music feature. And then also, a lot of times people miss this, but it's good to add some context about the albums or EPs. So you can talk about, the inspiration for the album, how the album came about, just some context that lets people know, kind of the mindset behind the music. The 4th page is your shows page. This is where you can add your calendar events. You'll also want to add some live photo or video so that people can kind of get an idea what it would be like if they come see you at a show. Next is you're going to want to have a photos page, and this is a page that should be really fun with lots of different types of images. So you can have your, your official promo photos, but you'll also want to have some live photos of your performing. You can have your Instagram feed, which typically is a little more personal. And then you can even have a section for fan photos. That's really great when people come back to your site, they'll be able to see themselves on your site. The next page that you want to have is a videos page. This is where you can embed videos from YouTube or Vimeo. You can definitely add different types of videos, but some performance videos are really essential. If you don't have any videos at all, you don't have to have a videos page. You can unpublish that page. And that's also a consideration for any page that doesn't have any content on it. You just want to unpublish it until you do have some content. The next one is a store page. So if you have physical items that you'd like to sell, you'd have that store page with images of all your merch and a clear way to contact you in case there's any issues or if they want to have any, if they have any questions about some of your items. And then the final and last page that you always want to have on any site is a contact page. This is where you want to put an email form that asks for their name, email, and their message. You never want to put your direct email address on site. Spam bots crawl sites looking for that information, and you'll start to get a lot of spam in your inbox. This is where you also want to add one more mailing list sign-up form as a last-ditch effort to get on your list, and also social media links so they can transition easily from your website over to your social media. So you definitely want to follow us on one of our social media accounts, which we have Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, because we do publish a lot of different updates. We also have a really extensive blog that's been going since around 2003. We give a lot of tips and tricks and industry best practices on our blog. So it's best to follow us on at least one of our social media so that you can know when we have any new blog posts or any updates. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to exit out of this screen and go to bandzoogle.com. So this is where you would get started, which again, most of you have already gotten started with this process, but we're going to start from scratch, just like any of the people coming here would do. Desi, are there any questions before we get started?
None so far.
Okay, so this looks fine?
Yep, looks good.
Okay. All right, just 1 second. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click the Get Started button. So this is where you would put your project or artist name. And your email address, and then a password. And so when you initially get started, it's going to load the page, and this is where you're going to choose your theme. So you're just going to click this button there. So here's where you can see a lot of our themes. So you can scroll down and kind of get an idea of what we have to offer, what fits your style. You can see that some of them are more, dark. Some of them are really light. We have some vertical menus here. So we'll go ahead and get started with, let's see, we'll just do this one, Zenith. Gives you like a really nice large header image, and it also gives us a call to action header. So we'll go ahead and preview that. And so this is just an idea of what it would look like without, any of your images or anything like that. But I do like this theme, so I'm going to go ahead and continue with it. Then it moves on to adding an image. And this is where you would upload your own image. So we're going to go ahead and replace it, and let me find, let's see. Hold on 1 second, I had my Oh, here we go, site building assets. So I have some just stock imagery just loaded for this webinar. And so we're just going to go ahead and add our main image to the header. It loads pretty quickly, and then you just select it. And then you see that it's already uploaded here, and it gives you an idea of how it's going to look. You can zoom in and zoom out. And you can drag it a little bit as well, but I like the placement of it the way it is. So I'm just going to leave it. We also have this focal point here, so you can drag and drop where you want the focal point to be as well. But I like it the way it is, so I'm going to go ahead and save it. And this is where we would set our title and logo. I'm just going to leave it as our title called Bandzoogle Webinar, and if you wanted to change it, you could at this stage. And this is your call to action header here. So this particular theme does have a call to action. And this is where you can change, different colors and things like that. But for now, we're just going to leave it because we can change that later, and I'll show you how to do that. But I just want to get to the main control panel. So we're going to click View Your Website. It says your site is ready for content. Click here to start editing. So that was pretty easy. So it's like a 3-step setup, and you're in the control panel. So this is your home page. You can always get back to it by clicking this little BZ icon right here. And you can always watch a video to kind of give you an idea of some of our tools. But the main 2 buttons that you're going to always use, or the tabs, is Edit Content and Edit Theme. So we're going to start with Edit Content. And you can get a quick tour with this video here, but since we're already on the webinar, we'll go ahead and close it and start editing. Okay, so you can see our images here. We have our header title and our menu. With Bandzoogle, when you get started, we give you some preset features. So our mailing list is up top, which is where it needs to be. You can add some latest news, latest tracks, shows, and social media. If there's some things you don't want on the home page, for example, let's just say we did not want to have our shows on our homepage. We could go ahead and just delete this section, and then it'd be gone. What I also want to show you guys is a lot of times when you're in your free trial, a lot of times our members aren't really sure that there's so many different options that you can do. One of the #1 options is that you can edit columns. So you see how this is a full column right here, and this is 2. All these are full width columns. What you can do is you can select Edit Columns, and then now you can make it, you can either do 2 columns, 2-column left sidebar, 2-column right sidebar, or 3 columns. For the purpose of this mailing list, I want the mailing list to move over to a sidebar. So I want to click that, and then all I have to do is, here's our mailing list here, but I want it to be in this smaller section. So I'm just going to click Move, and then I'm going to click this right here. And so now our mailing list is in a small box to the side. And then right here, I can add a text feature. And this is where I would add our short bio that talks about who I am, what I do, and where I'm from. You can also even add a new feature, like a title. I want to put it up here, and I could just say something like, welcome. And so now we have our first section. You can even add some latest news. We have a link here that talks about some ideas for blog posts, but if you want to add a blog, you can just simply click Add Blog. The blog title is, whatever you want to title your blog, and then it creates the new blog for you. You can click New Post. And you can add an image, choose the same image. You can add some categories. You can even add podcast for your blog. So if you have some tracks, you can add them here, and you would just click Upload Track. You can upload your file here and add the track name. And then if you do, it would allow you to, or your fans to subscribe to iTunes. So you'd want to have it set up on iTunes first, but you can have them subscribe, or they can download the track or podcast. So it really makes it easy. And then you can publish the blog post immediately, or you can publish it for later. So I'm gonna publish it now. And then also if you want to import posts from another feed, so like WordPress or Blogger or somewhere else, you can import those. We have podcast settings and then blog settings. So you can, in terms of comments and displays, there's a lot of different options there. So now you see that we have our first blog post. People can leave a comment there. Now I do want to add one of our tracks to the home page. So I'm just going to click Add Tracks. I'm going to set it to Album. You can also choose Track List, or you can use Music Player. Music Player would show one track at a time. Track List would show all the tracks you upload into this section. Just going to use a random image here. Now this is where you can add a description of your album. This is where you can add the context, so some of your inspirations or things like that. I do want to allow the download or sale, and I want to set it as a fixed price, and I want it to be $10. Let's just say I wanted to have it on sale. Then I would say I want it to be 25% off, so the sale price is $7.50. You can also accept pre-orders. So if you're not quite ready with your album and you're still kind of figuring that out or recording, you can accept pre-orders. So people can purchase your album, and then once you add all your tracks, you'll hit the release button and it'll release the album to those fans that have already purchased. It'll be automatic. This is where you would add your UPC code. If you had your CDs pressed, you'll get that in the production of your CD. You can also add some bonus files. So if you have some, images or liner notes, you can do that. So now that we've added the album information, we have to add the songs. So we're going to go ahead and click Edit Music again. And this is where we first would add our payment settings. So before you can add tracks, you're going to want to click Payment Settings here or here. And then you would just, put in your PayPal account, the currency, your country, and then you can put a thank you message if you'd like. So now that we have that in there, payment settings are updated. We can go back to the album and we can add a track. You can import, this is where you would import your tracks from SoundCloud, or you can add a new track. Here's where you would set a preview time. So if you only want people to hear 30 seconds of that song, you can do that. If you want them to hear the whole song, you just, go to the end here. Or if you just want them to hear like a middle section, you could do 30 seconds to a minute. So they'll hear 30 seconds of it in the middle. If you are a beat producer or somebody that adds watermarks to your tracks, you can add a custom preview clip. So this is where you would upload it here, and it would have your tag on it, your voice tag. But when the person actually downloads it, it would not have the tag on it. So let's just say for this particular track, we wanted to allow the download, but we want to do that free and require an email address. So this is where you would select that. You put your ISRC code. This is for SoundScan tracking. Your track notes. You can add lyrics here. ID3 tags. Those are the tags that you have on the actual track, which would tell the artist title, the album title, the year it was released. And then when it's shared, do you want people to hear the full track or preview clip? So we're going to leave those as is. Click Save. It's just going to load real quickly here. Also, once you make sales, you'll find all your sales in the transaction history tab. So always remember that. That's where you'll be able to see everything that's been purchased from you, whether it's a store item or the music purchases. So now when we go back to our home page, now we have our latest track set up here. So a cool thing that you can do now is, now that you've already added that particular album, we can go to the music feature. The music page. And now you'll see the music page doesn't have that album on there, but it's very easy. So all you have to do is click here, click album, and then we can just use the same album. Or we could have set up a new album, but it just makes it easy. So now when we go back, to that page, it's already set up. You don't have to re-upload it again or reset up all the information. It's just already set up that way. Now, if we go to the About page, this is where you'd place your bio, and we give you some information that talks about, kind of the things that you want to include in the bio. And this is where you would add your performance images over here to the side, or you can even do some performance videos, which is even better. If we go to the Shows tab, this is where you would add your events. And let's just say we have an event on Saturday at 7 p.m. You don't have to show a time if you don't want to. You can show an end date and time. So if, say, you're doing a house concert and you want people to leave the house at a certain time, you can have an end time. You can make it repeat here, like we mentioned. You can add your location name. And you can even save it. So if you frequent this venue often, then you can save the location for later so you don't have to keep typing it every time. We want to show the map link so people know how to get there. The event details would go here. You can add your event image. Let's just choose that one. And then you can sell tickets. So if you don't want to sell them, you just leave that. You can sell tickets through another website. If you do, you would just add the URL to that page. Or if you have a pro plan, you can sell tickets, let's just say $25 for the ticket. You can make it on sale like we did before, but we're not going to do that. You can add a receipt note. You can track inventory. So let's just say we only have 100 tickets available for this show and the event is confirmed. So if somebody buys a ticket from your website, they're going to get an email with a ticket that they can actually print out. They'll bring it to the venue, and you'll be able to print out a guest list. So you can give that to the person at the door so they can check it off as people enter. So now we do have one event, and so you can do a couple things with the options here. You can have the event as a list, a table, or calendar. And this is where you'd see the ticket information, and you can also change the display format here. So now you see that we have our one event listed here. So if you guys remember, we had the events feature on our homepage and we deleted it. So now if we go back to the homepage, and let's just say now, next to latest news, I want to put a show. So I'm going to edit the columns again. I'm going to make it a sidebar, and then I'm going to add the events feature back onto the page. Now you see that it's already added with our event that we already placed on the events feature. So again, you don't have to, type it up again. It just easily formats to the size and everything like that. If we jump, oops, clicked the wrong thing. If we jump over to the photos page, this is where you can add all your galleries. You can add your Instagram feed here at the bottom. But let's just say we wanted to add some photos. You can just give it a gallery name. And then you can select photos from Dropbox, or you can just select, a bunch of photos at one time. And it's very quick to upload those photos, and then they'll be right on your site. So also with this, you can have different gallery settings like a tiled view, grid view, or slideshow. You can show the tile or not, and then show the share links or not. So we're just going to save it as it is. Now you're going to see those photos automatically populate into a tiled view. You can add different types of photo galleries onto the page, and it really makes it easy and nice. The store page, same thing. Since we already added our PayPal account, it's very easy. We already did digital albums. So let's just say we wanted to add a physical album. We can just add this product. Let's just say it's a CD. Let's just say we want to use the same album. So we have a physical copy of it. We can just use that same one. We're going to set it for, say, $10. We can upload the image of that album. Let's just use the same guy here. It's available. You can set it to hidden or not available. And then if you chose a CD option, which is here, the type, it's a CD, it's automatically going to include a download of that same album. So it's really cool because when somebody purchases the physical CD, they're going to get the download first while they're waiting for you to ship out their CD. So it's really nice. It's kind of like a little bonus that you're giving to your fans. If you don't want to include that download, that free download, which we recommend that you do because it's just a nice bonus. But if you don't, then you would want to list this as a product and service instead of a CD. But for this purpose, we do like to give people the free download since they're already purchasing the physical. And then you can track inventory if you only had a few of those CDs, and then you can charge shipping. So let's say that you just want to charge $2 for shipping. You can also use PayPal shipping settings if you'd like, which will give you a lot more options as well. But for now, we're just going to use ours, and then we just click save. And now we have that physical album. You can do list or grid view. We offer discount. You can do discount codes like we mentioned on our Pro plan. And again, here's a transaction history once you make a sale. So now you're going to see that physical CD on the page. So let's see. Let's do a list view. And now you'll see it is a little bit of a list. Just a layout is a little bit different. And then finally, let's check out the contact page. And then we're going to go over to the edit theme tab so we can kind of style up our theme. The contact page, you're going to want to add a contact form. So this is already set up for name, email, and message. This is exactly what we think should be put on the contact page. If you have any other questions, you can ask them now. So if you want to add a field, you can do short text, big text, checkboxes, multiple choice, date. But we like to keep it simple because the more fields you add, the less likely people are going to enter their information. So we just click save here. The form options, you can change the title. You can give a different submission message. And then this is where you would put your email address. It defaults to your account email address, but you can change it if you want the notifications to go somewhere else. And so now you see there's a contact form. This is where you can add your social media links. So you add new site, and let's just say that you want people to check you out on Instagram. Click save. And how about Twitter? Save. And then we'll just do Facebook. And save. Okay, so with these options, you can change the icon to big, small color, black and white big, or black and white small, but we'll just leave it with these. Actually, we'll change it to these big icons. We'll click save. And now you'll see that they're pretty prominent on the page. And then you can move them. So one of the things I wanted to let you guys know is that even you can change the columns, but you can move things around on the page. So let's just say you wanted to move these. Actually, let's edit the column first. We just want to make it one column. So now push those over and put this to the bottom. Let's just say we want to move these back up to the top. You just click move, scroll up, and then I want to put it, let's just say, in its own section at the top. So now it's in its own section. If I didn't like that, I can change it again and move it here. You can move it to another page. So let's just say we wanted it on our home page. You could click move, and then you can go to pages and click home. And then once you get on the home page, you can decide where on the home page you want it. So let's just say you wanted it right here. And now it will spread it out to the column width. I'm going to move it again just to put it right under here. So you can see that there's a lot of different options. Now we're going to move, actually, here's the call to action header. So you can click on that. And then you can link it to, say, one of your pages, a file, an email address, album, or track. Let's just say we want to have the button linked to the music page where they can buy the new album. And the button would say now. So now you're going to see that this has changed here. Now when we go to edit theme, we have a lot of different options to work with. One of the great things we offer is image filters. So this image right here looks a little dark to me. Oops. So I'm gonna, put a little filter on it to brighten it up. It's just like Instagram filters. If you guys have used those, then you can change that. You can also change the header height. So you can make it shorter or taller. And you can do that on the inner pages as well. There's a lot of different options here. If you don't want to use this title right here, you can add your own logo, or you can just leave it with none. But for now, I'll leave text here. You can change the site title font color. Right now it's set to black, and I want to leave it that way. And then you can change the fonts, font size, letter spacing. So let's just say we wanted to move the spacing out like that to make it really obvious, but I'm just going to leave it the way it was. In terms of the menu, right here, there's a lot of different color options. If you want to change the background bar color to dark, you could do that. And then in that case, you'd want to change the menu font color to light. You can even change the font hover color. So when you hover over, you can change it to any color that you'd like. Just do orange just to make it obvious. So now when you hover over it, it changes. Now here's where you can change the call to action header colors. We could change it to black. But for now, we're going to keep it as white because I want to show you that you can do a background color. So let's just say we wanted to have it as like a light gray, and then you can change the opacity of it so you can kind of see the site image in the background. And then you can even add a border color. So if you wanted to add a border just to make it stand out a lot more. This picture works well with a left aligned call to action, but let's just say we want to center it. We could. You could put it to the top, higher, or bottom. But I do like it left aligned because it just fits nicely there. Now, if you scroll down to the content font, let's just say we didn't really like this particular font style. You can change it to, let's just pick something different. So now it's just a little bit of a different style. You could change the line height, which you won't be able to really see because we only have one line here. You can make it uppercase. But again, you don't want to use uppercase for all your content. You just want to use it for titles and stuff like that. Okay, so this is another thing that we've recently added is section styles. And we have 3 section styles. So section style 1 is the main color of your website. So we're going to leave that one alone. Section style 2 actually looks like it's section style 3. So this latest news is in section style 3. So you see that it's a dark gray, but let's just say we wanted to change that to, let's just do like a nice light blue. We could change it to light blue just to brighten it up a little bit and then choose that. So you can change all these different colors, to make sure that it stands out nicely. Like the font would need to change to maybe like a black just to make it stand out a lot more. Let's see, the font color, of the titles you'd, want to change as well. So there's lots of different, different things that you can change, link colors. It's just, you can go through those all together. And then if you scroll up here, you'll see these are the buttons that this buttons is talking about. So right now it's set up to pill shape, but you can do rounded on the corners. You can do square if you like it like that. You can do an outline or you can do solid. So now it's solid. Okay, so we're going to click save and I'm going to show you where you can choose these sections, and then we'll do a quick Q&A. So if you go back to the Edit Content tab, so right here you'll see Edit Section. Let's just go down here to Latest Tracks, and we'll click Edit Section. Right now it's set to Section Style 2. We could say Section Style 1, but let's go, I'm just showing you that it's Section Style 2. If you wanted to increase the padding, which is the spacing between the top and the bottom, you can do that. It'll give you more space. But I'm just going to select none because I want it to go up a little more. Click Save. And now, again, remember that that was Section Style 2. So when we go back to Edit Theme, we're going to go down to Section Style 2. And now, if we want to change that to, like, say, a darker blue, we can do that. Change the font color to white. And so now you'll see that we have 3 different section styles. So we have a light gray, a light blue, and then dark blue. And it really makes the site stand out a little bit more. Sections just kind of section out the different features. So we're gonna click Save there. And then the final thing I want to show you is that we say we love this theme, but over time, you have a new album, you want to spice it up. You could just go to View Themes. And let's just say we wanted to mix it up with a vertical menu here. Click Preview. And it's going to load the theme here. So now you see that it's a totally different look. And let's just say we want to continue with this theme. Now everything is the same in terms of all your content. So the welcome message is still there, the mailing list, the social icons, latest news, everything we already added is already there, but the colors are different because it's a different theme, different style. So let's just say we wanted to add a different filter. Now we can change that. And so on and so on. You can kind of see that you can pretty much change everything that you'd like. Section styles, again, you can change that up to whatever kind of coloring you'd like. Section style 2 and 3. Again, you can change them however you'd like. And so you're with a totally different theme, but you still get a bunch of control. So hopefully but hopefully that shows you guys all the different options that you would have just in building your site and making it look super different no matter what theme you choose. You can also choose any theme that you'd like and change it later, so you're not really like stuck into one, and you don't have to re-upload everything. Everything's going to be as it was the way you uploaded it into the Edit Content tab. So before I come out as Desi, is there anything, any questions that anybody had that they wanted to see while we're building?
Nope.
All right, so let me exit out here, and then I'll stop sharing my screen and come back to the screen. Awesome. So we made it through the webinar. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of that webinar. There's a lot of tips and tricks in there. And again, we will send out a replay link a little later today. Does anybody have any last questions? Let's see. Mark says, have you ever done a webinar for SEO or plan to do one in the future? We actually have. Do we have a link to that webinar, Desi? If we don't, Mark, if you email us from the help tab in your account, we can send you the link to that previous SEO webinar. And I think we will probably be doing more SEO webinars in the future because it was really a hit and there was a lot to it. Another thing you can do is go to our blog page, which is bandzoogle.com/blog. And then in the right sidebar, we have an ebook, and it's a really extensive ebook on SEO. And it gives you so many different tips and different things that you can look at to improve that on your site. Let's see. Antoine says, do a lot of people use custom code? I don't think so. Like, I know some people do use custom code, but the majority of our members do not use custom code. They simply just use our built-in tools to change colors, placements, fonts, different things like that. You're welcome, Bob. Mike asks, if I have a website built with WordPress and hosted by GoDaddy, is it easy to make the conversion to Bandzoogle? Okay, so you wouldn't be able to transfer any of your content from WordPress over to us because we have our own system. But once you build everything up on Bandzoogle, it's super easy to use your existing domain name. So, and we have actually a step-by-step for GoDaddy as well, because we have a lot of people using GoDaddy domains. So it's super easy to link your domain to your website that you build with us. And if you get stuck, we do have, in our help tab, we have a help article, and then we also have 7-day-a-week support. So if you had any questions about it, you could always ask our support team. So does anybody else have any questions before we jump out for the day? All right, so I don't see anything else. We also just want to thank you guys for spending your time with us today. We will be doing more of these webinars in the coming months, and so stay tuned to your inbox for that. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us from the help tab in your account or support@bandzoogle.com. So until next time, bye for now.